Okay, so this part of the video, I'm going to show you how to take out and install the transmission mount on this 2010 Honda Civic EX. Okay, those of you who follow me when I take out the lower motor mount. Okay, now I move on to the transmission. I still have my car on the ramp, and what I do is I move my jack, put a block of wood. I put it on the left side of the transmission. Okay, because the motor mount is, you know, on the fender right above there. So I put it pretty much right under the transmission mount there to support the transmission. Okay, so with a 10mm quarter-inch ratchet here, I'm going to take out the negative terminal first. Okay, like that. Wiggle it, pull them out. Now I go after the positive one. So removing this, mine is broke off right here. I'll take this off. So no more arcing and sparking. Okay. Alright, so next what I'm going to do is remove these battery holder. I'm going to use, you can use ratchet wrench, but it's a 10mm. Okay. And basically just loosen this out. Like so. Okay, so I jot the word F on there. It's mean front. Okay. Just take this out. And then there should be a hook down here that you just turn this. Just unhook it so. Okay, loosen this. And on this side you probably see it better. The hook down there. Okay. Okay, just unhook it from that. The eyelet coming up like so. Do the same on this side. You might have to move your battery back to get that hook off the eyelet there. Okay, once you get it out, it's come out like one piece like that. Okay, like that. Next thing I'm going to do too is I'm going to mark this again. Okay, and put the word F right there. Stand for front, or you can put a B back here, stand for back. Okay, so I'm going to take this cover out. You might not have these if you replace your battery with a different type. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to use two hands and take this whole battery out. Okay? Okay, like that. Put this cover back on like so. This is optional, but I like to take out the tray here out too, because I'm going to clean them. So I'm going to put I'm going to mark it again, showing that is the front side. Okay, easy for me to reinstall. Like I said, this is optional for you, but you see all the rusted out there. I'm going to try to clean that up afterward. Okay, so that's it for the battery. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this using needle nose. Okay, I'm going to pinch on one side and lift this clip up off this wire right here. Okay, so there it is with the needle nose pinch on this side. Move that clip, that way this thing loosen, so it's easier for you to maneuver. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ECM out. So with this cover right here, I'm going to move it out. Okay, you see this two tap, put it underneath your finger underneath and push it up. Same way on this side. Okay, push it up and it should come out like that. Okay, so make sure you take this out, because most people leave it on when they take it out, and then they try to hold on to this, and then this thing just slip out and the ECM fall on the ground. Okay, that's a bad thing. So make sure you take this out. Okay, with a 10mm quarter-inch ratchet, just lose these out like so. Okay, then with this, I'll take out my finger, magnetic tray underneath. Two, and this is the last one. Okay, there it is. Those are the 3 bolts. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to need 2 hands for this. This ECM is now loose. What I do, I'm going to bend it forward like that. You see these clip back here? Basically, what you're going to do, you're going to push onto this button right here. Push down, and then with the other hand, pry it, or you can use a screwdriver if you want. But lift this handle all the way to the left, and that will disengage it. Okay. Okay, so these clip, slide it all the way to the left like that, and basically you can actually, you know, just slide to the left and just disconnect it. So okay, on the last one here, I had to hold on to that ECM. Okay, you slide all the way to the left like so. As you can see, it wiggle itself out. Okay, careful with these like so. Okay, don't drop these. Okay, now what you're gonna do is there's a screw back here. Okay, what I'm gonna do is the way to get to it, there's a clip. What you want to do, you want to push it. Okay, there's a clip right here up front on the fuse box. Okay, so just hold your hand, push it toward the back of the car, and lift this fuse box up. Same way with this one here, the one on this side. Okay, and then you got one more right here. Same thing, push it to the back of the car and lift it off like that. Okay, see that metal clip right here? Just push it, push the clip to the back of the car, and then lift it up. Okay, easy to do with two hands, but a little harder with one hand. Okay, and now as you can see that bolt inside there. Okay, there you go. Okay, now you can see that bolt there. That's what you get to. Okay, so with 10mm ratchet, you get it in there like so. Okay, that bolt's loose, and then the next bolt is this one right here that hold this bracket. I'm gonna take this bolt out first. Okay, there's a bolt to hold the bracket, and then this one here. Okay, there's a bolt right there. Okay, put that on your tray there. All right, and now you can, before you move this bracket out, I'm gonna mark this right here. Okay, that right there, you can see how that thing is hooked onto that bolt right there. You just go on top of that bolt, that slider. Okay, and then this one here, I'm gonna mark the one here. That way I know that this side goes to the fender. Okay, just easy for me to install next time. Okay, and then this one here, you got this plastic air intake thing here. What you want to do is there's a grommet back here. So what you want to do is push it, you know, with your finger like that, push it toward the front of the car. Watch out, because that grommet tends to see it falling out. Okay, but after you do that, the bracket coming out. This is a grommet that I'm talking about. Okay, so a lot of time when you do this thing will fall off. That's why I use your finger. I use my middle finger to push that plastic out, and then hold onto that grommet as I remove the bracket. Okay. Okay, so after you take the bracket out, we're exposed to 3 bolts back here. Okay, 2 on the bracket here. So what I did is I already loosened that bolt, but to get to that, what you want to do is move your fuse box, tilt it forward like that, as we expose the bolt. Okay, and what I'm using is a 1/2-inch breaker bar right there, and I hook it on to about 10-inch extension and a deep socket. Okay. So I put it here, I broke this thing loose, okay, and after that I loosened it out, take the breaker bar off, and then loose out with that extension and a socket there. Okay, and here's a bolt for it. And then the other one that's exposed is this one right here, so you can do that one too. Okay, you put it in like so, using a breaker bar, broke it off. I already did it ahead of time, and then basically what you want to do is you want to turn this to loosen it out. Okay, really simple. Okay, so you got this bolt, that bolt, and then the last one. What you want to do is move your fuse box, and what I would do, because I have that bolt is that 2 bolts out of the way, what I do is I'm going to hook this fuse box onto that metal clip so it stay out of the way for the rest of the time. Okay, so as you can see now is exposing this bolt. So same thing, you use a breaker bar, 14mm deep socket, and extension. Okay, broke these loose, and take this bolt out like so. Okay, those are 3 bolts. Now you take a bracket out, but before you do that, what I did is last time I marked this word F right here, then for front, that way when I put them back it's easy. Okay, okay, so now this bracket is out. The next 2 bolt is a 17mm. You got the one here and the one back here. It's hard to see, but there's a one back here. And you got these 3 bolts. I mean, this bolt right here and the 2 nuts on this side. And after you remove that, you can actually wiggle that thing out. Okay, so I'm going to change my socket to a 17mm deep socket. I'm going to take this one and that one out of the way. Okay, so after I broke them loose, loosen this out. Okay, so there's a bolt right there. That's one of them. Okay, now this one here is hard to see, but you can actually see it. This one here I might not be able to take it all the way out, but I'm going to lose it enough. Okay, I think that thing loose right there. Okay, I'm just going to leave it there, and then I'm going to take this nut off. As you can see, after you broke them loose, you know, just use your extension. Take it out. Okay. All right. So after that, I'm going to take these 2 nuts off. One, 2. All right. Now, this bolt right here, okay, you see how hard it is to turn? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lift my jack up just a little bit to relieve the pressure. You can see your transmission start to sagging down there. Okay, that's like that. Put it in the magnetic tray there. All right, so next thing I'm going to do, last time I marked the word F right here, that means this thing go forward. This little damper piece right here, okay. What I'm going to do, if you watch, I'm going to lift this jack up a little bit. Okay, you see how when I pump the jack, that transmission going up. Okay, so that's how you adjust this. Okay, there you go. Okay, all right. So now remember, I still have that bolt that I can't reach down there, so I'm gonna wiggle this out like so. Okay, like that. And the bolt, there's the bolt that I'm talking about. This is the one that I just took out. Okay, I'm going to replace it with this. This is actually an OEM. This is the lifetime warranty, but it's no longer alive. Okay, so what I did is I filled that gap up on both sides. Okay, with that stuff right there, and so I'm going to test drive this. Okay, so after you finish cleaning this, okay, basically what you're going to do, you're going to slide this thing in like so. Okay, so it should slide in right onto that stud right there. Okay, and then you see how that thing's still crooked, so it could be your jack leaking. Okay, so I'm gonna pump this up a little bit. Okay, so right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to align these 2 bolts, this one, that one, and put the 2 nuts back on. Okay, Okay, the front one here is really easy. I can put my hand and start it. The back one here, I'm using 17mm, just like that, okay? Aligned it. It's hard to see on the camera there, but you align it straight, and you might have to wiggle this a little bit to get it aligned, okay? Once you get it started, that's all you need, okay? Don't tighten everything back. And then next piece go on here is little, the dealer call it as a stiffener, okay? I call it the damper piece. That's what it looked like. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this long bolt back in. Now, if you put this thing on and you run out of thread, you can lift your jack up a little bit, okay? So I'm going to put this on like so. Then I'm going to start this two nut. It's really good that they make these studs. It's pretty much serve as a self-aligning thing. Okay. Like that. So this next part here is the one where most people get in problem align the bolt, okay? Because what happened is these two need to be aligned up, bracket up, okay? If you tie these down, torque it down, and it's gonna be tight, and there's no wiggle room for you to align these two in, okay? So that's why you hand tie all these and then put the bracket on, and then you tie everything down. Okay, so next thing go on is this bracket right here. Okay, so I label it, I put the F word right there, it's front. Let's go on like that. Okay, now what you want to do, so these are 14mm bolt. I'm going to align this one first. Once it's started, go to the next one. Okay, I'm gonna do this back here. Make sure that these three bolts are started before you move on. See how this thing is like not aligned because it needs some wiggle room. Okay, there it is. Alright, so this is where most people make mistake on this bracket right here, because you're gonna need to wiggle this to get this bracket aligned. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tighten all these bolts down, and then I'm going to torque them. Okay. Remember, these are 14mm. This bolt and that bolt is 17, and that bolt and the two nut are 17mm. Okay. There it is. I'm using a 1/2" ratchet. Okay. Tighten these three down. Really simple. Okay. So I got this side, and now on this side, you go down here, tighten this up. Like so, okay? Now because that bracket you put it on, it might be in the way a little bit, but you actually can do it, okay? So for that bolt back there, because you have this bracket on, so it looked like it might be in the way. So what you want to do is move your fuse box out of the way here. Okay, so push that clip all the way to the back of the car and lift it up and move it out. Okay, now you can see that bolt right down there. Okay, right there. And I'm going to put the extension on right here. I'm going to tie this down. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to torque this one first, and then the one on that side, and then the 3 bolt. Okay, so these 2 bolts are 47 foot-pound. Okay, I already torqued that one. Okay, so now what you want to do, you want to move these fuse box out of the way. Alright, so just like that. Then you go in and you torque this one. Okay, so I'm going to put my camera down and torque this down to 47 foot-pound. Okay, use 2 hands, okay, one here and one there. Basically, I add a 5" extension, that way it's sitting higher so I can have a good leverage. Okay, so these are the same bolt side. So I'm going to move to this one right here. So you have to move this wire out of the way like that. I'm going to do the center one first, okay? and this one is gonna be 54 foot-pound. Okay, same setup here. Okay, I'm gonna torque this down 54 foot-pound. Okay, so there it is, using two hands. Okay, one here and one on the handle. 54 foot-pound on these on this bolt and this two nut. Okay, now once you've done that, now what you're gonna do, you're gonna switch this to a 14 millimeter, and you're gonna torque down the 3 bolt on the bracket. All right. Okay, using the same setup, I just switched that to a 14 millimeter deep socket. You know, you have to move this connector out of the way there, and you're gonna do these 2 front bolts. Okay, now after that, what you want to do is you want to move this fuse box out of the way so you can get the back bolt. And there it is. Okay, just tilt the fuse box forward a little bit, hook on 28 foot-pound. Okay, same setup. Make sure that you adjust your torque wrench, because most people, what they do in a 54 here, and then they switch the socket. They didn't adjust the torque wrench, so they end up torquing this down to 54 and end up stripping the bolt. Okay, that's another common mistake people make. So make sure when you do this, adjust your torque wrench. Okay, so once you have that bracket in, now what I'm going to do is now I install in the other bracket where it hold on the ECM. Okay. For this fuse box, or for this bracket here, okay, lift your fuse box. You see the wire is go on top of the bracket. Okay, this wire here, and then what you want to do is align that mark that I make. It's gonna go right over the bolt like that. Okay, like that one right there. Okay, and then this bolt right here should line up. So what I do with 2 hands, okay, and you have to move this out of the way a little bit, so so this thing can line into the fender right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to put my camera down and align this bolt, and this one will act as a pivot, so you can move this bracket back and forth, so you can align this fuse box in. Okay. And as you can see, that bolt is go right into that slot where I mark it, where I put this bolt in. And as you can see, after that, this serves as a pivot point right here. Okay, see, it's not going anywhere. It serves as a pivot point. So you have to line up this bolt back here. Okay, so you see how close it is aligned. So what I'm doing, I'm gonna put the bolt back in. Okay, once you get that bolt started, what you want to do now is use your thumb right here, push on this. Okay, and then the other hand, pull on this, you know, that little grommet go in to this air horn looking, this plastic air intake looking thing here. Okay, so basically what you want to do is you want to align this to the that plastic piece that have to go inside that grommet. Okay, so I'm going to put my camera down and one hand doing it while the other hand align that thing, and be careful with this because this thing might fall out on you. Okay, like that. Okay, so one hand pull this toward the front of the car, align that, and then what you want to do, you want to push it in. Once it's aligned, there it is. Okay, in place. All right, now you have that in place, let's tie that bolt and the one down here. Okay, just snug these. I tried to look for the torque on this one, and the Honda menu doesn't show. Okay, so after you get this thing tight, what you want to do is move that fuse box, you know, that clip back to that metal thing, so it's hold the fuse box back in place, like so. Okay. Okay, so press it down once the metal aligned. Then there should be the one up front here too. Okay. Okay. So that look like that thing in. Okay. So now you have all this room to play with this bolt. And I don't know the torque for that one either. It didn't show on the Honda manual. Okay. All right. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to install in the ECM. So make sure these wire or these connector is on the back side like that, and then there should be one more down here. Okay, make sure they are facing like that. So so the way I do it, I put on the ECM and I reconnect this. Okay, so basically you just reconnect it on, and see, this thing has a tendency to go forward. So what you have to do is push this and slide it all the way back to get it ready. Okay, all these. Okay, push on this and slide this thing. Okay, all the way back. Okay, so push on that black thing in the center there, and then just slide this arm all the way back, like so. Okay, so what I like to do is after I put the ECM in, I'm not going to mount it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to connect this, and then I'm going to slide this all the way forward so it locks itself in place like that. Okay, and that will hold the ECM in place, so I can install this, so I can put a mount, install the mounting bolt. Okay, so right now you set it like that. Okay, so the ECM only go in one way. Okay, you got one mounting bolt on the back there, and then you got the two on the front. Okay, so it's going in like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my camera down, and I'm going to connect this back here. Okay, and there it is. Okay, I connect it back in, and I just push this forward to lock it in place like that. Okay, now it's not falling on you because you got to connect to hold it. Now I'm going to go back here doing the same thing with this one. Okay, push it in, push it forward like that. So now it's hold the ECM in place. What you want to do is line that bolt up and these two bolt up, and that should be the last three bolts that you're gonna put on. Okay, so after you align, use same 1/4 inch 10 millimeter. Let's tie this down. Okay, now this 3 bolt is Honda call for 7.2 foot-pound. Okay, so the one back here, you probably, if you want to, you probably use a 1/4 inch swivel. Torque that down to 7.2. Okay, so after you finish torquing these 3 bolts to 7.2, or you tight it until it go all the way and give it a snug 1/4 turn. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put this cover back on. Okay, so this cover here is have the clip right there, and let's go onto that metal piece slot right there and right here. Okay, so slide it on like so. Okay, going on like that. Make sure that slot align, push it down, and that's it. And then next thing you want to do, you want to put this clip back on here. There it is. Okay, now the next step is reinstall the battery. Okay, so I mark that, you know, it's go up front like that. You can see this have a drain hole. And then this here is look like it's a pin. Okay, that pin will fit on right there, and then the drain hole, that's where all the rust started here. Okay, so basically what you want to do, you want to check to make sure that drain hole is clear, and you just slide it in like so. Okay, and align it. Like so. Okay, sure that thing facing the hole right there, this thing is in. Okay, it's not moving. If you don't mark it, just remember these wood right here is upside down. Okay, that also tell you it's a front. Okay, if you don't mark it, that's why I mark them to make it easy. All right, so next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna slide my battery in. Okay, battery is in, positive on the right side of the car, negative on the left side of the car. Okay, then this cover, remember I mark it, but you don't mark it, then the open window here go up front. Okay, so let's go in like that. Okay, so there it is. Just have it align it in place. You might have to move the battery back and forth. All right, next thing I mark, so I know which front one, which back. Basically you put this one, and there's a hook back there. Okay, the hook back there, you just hook that hook onto that eyelet, and then guide the one up front. The one up front will go through that hole right there. Okay, and then there's an eyelet underneath there. Okay, that hook right there, you hook onto that eyelet. Okay, and with those two hooks is in place like that. Check on this side. See on this side, it hook on. So 10 millimeter. I use a ratchet wrench to tie this up. Okay. There it is. Okay. Don't over tight these. Okay. That put a dent into the battery plastic. Okay. Tight it enough where this thing is not gonna move. And that's about it, okay? That's the tightness that you want on these, okay? So this thing don't move, right? All right, so next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hook on the positive one here. Make sure the negative is disconnect, okay? I'm gonna hook this on. Now, this little piece right here is gonna go on top of that stud right here, okay? A little piece looks like a nut right there. So let's go like that, right? I don't know why. I wish they make it to go around like that, but anyway, that's how it is. What I'm gonna do, 10 millimeter ratchet. I'm gonna tie this up. Okay, so make sure you slide the terminal in all the way. Okay, so mine broke off. Okay, what you can do, use silicone or tape or something, that way this thing don't fall out. I'm gonna do that a little bit later, okay? And then now find your grounding strap, hook this thing on, like so. Okay, so what I like to do, I like to hook it on like that. That way I can tie this down. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Okay, I just finished showing you how to replace this transmission mount. Okay, all the link to other motor mount is in the description. Okay, remember the key and successful motor mount replacement is that when you deal with a bracket that mounted on this motor mount, on both of these motor mount, the key is that get all the bolts started and then tie and torque them down. Okay. Don't tie and torque them down first and then put on a bracket. The bolt might not be aligned. Okay, so that's it. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you very much for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye.